Next, we will begin auctioning the first object of this spatial trade fair. Old man Bao Shan's hand rubbed the empty space in front of him from within his distorted spatial wall. A pair of dense white bone wings appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The faint sound of wind lightning was emitted from the ancient wings. Demon phoenix wings? Xiaoyan was startled when he saw this pair of familiar bone wings. His expression immediately became a little strange. He had always heard that the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe greatly valued the corpses and bloodline of their tribe members. Anyone who dared to take a corpse would be surrounded and attacked by the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Hence, he had always been afraid about revealing the Heaven Phoenix wings on him. Unexpectedly, the first item to be sold in this spatial trade fair were these wings. Looks like the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe has met with many sneak attacks, but it is expected. The Heaven Demon Phoenix's body is full of treasures. It is not strange for someone to target them. Xiaoyan gloated within his heart. He was also clearly aware that the only auction hall that dared to deal with the Demon Phoenix wings was only this spatial trade fair. Demon Phoenix wings, the wings of a Heaven Demon Phoenix. Everyone present should be aware of how rare they are. If they are refined into a flying dough skill, no one of the same level would be able to catch up to you in terms of speed. It is a must-have to kill others or flee. Old man Bao Shan smiled as he spoke. His words clearly indicated that he was not afraid of offending the Heaven Demon Phoenix. The owner of these Demon Phoenix wings wishes to exchange them for a Tier 8 medicinal pill that has experienced a 4-colored pill lightning. After our evaluation, the Demon Phoenix wings are worth this much. Hence, anyone who is interested can begin bidding. The large hall once again descended into silence after old man Bao Shan's words sounded. Xiaoyan crossed his hands in front of his chest. He leaned his body against the backrest and watched everyone with great interest. He was already in possession of a pair of Demon Phoenix wings and naturally understood the benefits. By relying on them, Xiaoyan had escaped from the hands of people far stronger than him many times. However, since Xiaoyan already possessed them, he would not place his attention on them. The large hall was completely silent. No one spoke, but old man Bao Shan was not anxious. His face was still full of smiles. This silence continued for around 5 minutes before a hoarse voice finally said, "I want it." Xiaoyan's eyes looked in the direction of where the voice had originated. He saw a human figure in a doping randomly toss a jade bottle toward old man Bao Shan. Old man Bao Shan received the jade bottle. He opened it and took a glance before smiling. His eyes looked around him and asked, "Is there anyone willing to offer a higher price than this?" The surroundings were completely silent. This did not surprise old man Bao Shan. The original owner of these Demon Phoenix wings was a 6-star Do Zun. It was not bad that it could be exchanged for a 4-color pill lightning Tier 8 medicinal pill. No one would compete for it with a higher price since it was not worth it. Old man Bao Shan smiled when he saw no one open their mouths. With a flick of his finger, the Demon Phoenix wings in front of him flew to the person who had offered the bid. The bidder grabbed the wings and stuffed them into his storage ring. This transaction was very simple. Both parties would exchange goods at the same time since the things they were exchanging for were all extremely expensive. This place is different than an ordinary auction. Unless there is a special reason, most people will choose to give up when the things that they fork out far surpass the things that they wish to buy. After all, the people here are not some suckers, Yao Lao softly explained. Xiaoyan nodded. It was likely that one could find dozens of people here who could take out something that surpassed a 4-colored pill lightning Tier 8 medicinal pill. However, only one person had offered the bid earlier. It was partially because the allure of this Demon Phoenix wings was insufficient, but it also indicated the calmness of these people. Haha, the second item that we will be auctioning today. Old man Bao Shan smiled after having successfully completed the first transaction. Another object once again flashed and appeared in front of him. Surprisingly, it was a pale golden scroll. King Kong Glass Body, Tian Class Low-Level Do Skill. This Do skill was created by Saint Lu Li 1,000 years ago. If one practices this Do skill to its peak, one's body would appear as indestructible as metal, one's punch could collapse the sky, and one's feet could crack the ground. It is a kind of powerful Do skill that combines both offense and defense together. Surprise flashed across Xiao Yan's eyes when he heard Old Man Bao Shan's introduction. This King Kong Glass Body seemed to be a method to train one's physical body. It was likely quite powerful in order to reach the Tian class. This Do skill's owner wishes to exchange it for a Tian class low-level water affinity chi method. Of course, it is also alright if one takes out some medicinal pills of equal value. Old Man Bao Shan smiled as he spoke. Quite a number of people present in this large hall were quite interested in this Do skill. Hence, someone threw out a pale blue scroll after Old Man Bao Shan spoke. The scroll finally landed in Old Man Bao Shan's hands. Old Man Bao Shan received the scroll. He opened it and took a glance, after which he lifted his head and looked around him. Before he could speak, another 2 people threw scrolls at him. Within less than 2 minutes, 4 scrolls had appeared in Old Man Bao Shan's hands. There were 4 people who were interested in this King Kong Glass Body. Xiao Yan involuntarily sighed in his heart as he looked at the scroll in Old Man Bao Shan's hands. The 4 scrolls were Tian Class low-grade chi methods. It had been only a short while, but many Tian Class chi methods, which were extremely rare in the outside world, had appeared. This scene caused even Xiao Yan to involuntarily sigh in his heart. It was indeed the case that one came into contact with different things at a certain level. Back then, he had fought a life-and-death battle before he luckily managed to obtain a Tian Class low-level Do skill. No one else joined the bid after 4 scrolls were thrown out. Old Man Bao Shan opened each of the 4 scrolls and carefully read through them. A moment later, he slowly shut his eyes. They were once again opened a minute later. He flicked his finger and 3 of the scrolls in his hand shot back to their owners. He laughed. After the owner of the Do skill looked the offers over, a conclusion has been reached for this transaction. His sleeve was flicked as he spoke. The golden-colored Do Chi scroll in front of him flew to the back of the hall. Subsequently, it landed in the hands of a black-robed person. This scroll was put in that person's storage ring in the blink of an eye. Humph! The 3 others let out a soft, displeased snort when the chi methods they offered were not selected. Clearly, they were in a bad mood. Old Man Bao Shan acted as though he did not hear these voices. He continued to conduct the trade fair. The items that appeared during the subsequent trades became more dazzling. From Do skills to chi methods, from medicinal pills to great natural treasures, from weapons to medicinal cauldrons. Each item that was taken out would stir quite a commotion in the outside world, but they were not shocking here. Although these auctioned objects were rare, Xiao Yan did not bid for them. He did not bid for anything other than a poison book called Sky Quiet Poison Code. He had used 2 5-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pills to purchase the book for the little fairy doctor. One reason why he did not bid for more items was because the items that the other party requested were quite harsh. Another reason was that he did not need these objects in his heart. The so-called Sky Quiet Poison Code had been created by an elite Do Sheng called Saint Sky Quiet Poison thousands of years ago. This elite Do Sheng loved to use poison throughout his life. Hence, he had left behind a scroll containing the refinement methods of various mysterious poisons. Some of the lethal poisons could cause even an elite Do Zun to become miserable. Although this book possessed a great might, it required one to have researched poisons before and was rather unorthodox. Otherwise, it would not have been possible for Xiao Yan to purchase it so easily. Although Xiao Yan did not purchase anything for himself, the perplexing objects being auctioned opened Xiao Yan's eyes. Only at this moment did he understand why so many top experts rushed to this spatial trade fair. The things that were being traded here were extremely rare. As one rare object after another was successfully exchanged, the atmosphere in the large hall became much hotter. Heated eyes shot out from many dupings. They stared intently at old man Bao Shan in the middle of the hall. However, the thing that caused Xiao Yin to frown was that the map fragment related to the purifying demon lotus flame had yet to appear. Next, we will begin auctioning the second to last item of this trade fair. Old man Bao Shan, who had just successfully traded an item at a high price, lifted his head and displayed an extremely happy face. He smiled and clenched his hand, and a yellowish ancient skin appeared in his hand. Xiao Yin, who was feeling a little impatient in his heart, suddenly lifted his head when this ancient skin appeared. He stared at the ancient map fragment while his breathing within the doping had become much rougher and heavier. This map was something he was very familiar with because Xiao Yin had been searching for them for over a decade. Haha, this is only a map fragment. There is no special energy to it. However, after studying it, we have come to the conclusion that this map fragment is related to the legendary purifying demon lotus flame. Old man Bao Shan lifted the old skin with his hand. All the eyes within the large hall gathered on the ancient map fragment after old man Bao Shan's words rang out. The purifying demon lotus flame was ranked third on the heavenly flame ranking. This kind of heavenly flame, which seemed to exist only in legends, was something that even someone like Yao Lao had never personally seen. Everyone present was clearly aware of the strength of the top three heavenly flames. They were a true force that could destroy the world and were already beyond the control of humans. Anyone who could obtain and control this heavenly flame would find very few opponents within the Doqi continent. This was because this heavenly flame represented an extreme destructive force. Old man Bao Shan smiled when he saw the completely silent hall. He was clearly aware of the allure of the purifying demon lotus flame. Hence, he had left the map fragment as the second to last item before taking it out. Many fiery hot pairs of eyes within the large hall were staring at the map fragment. Those present were not ordinary people. Even the purifying demon lotus flame was a legendary thing to them. They had only heard of it and had never truly seen it. Of course, this did not hinder anyone from coveting it. Anything powerful would ultimately attract countless pairs of greedy eyes regardless of the danger involved. Although this map fragment was not the true purifying demon lotus flame, one would be able to obtain some information related to the purifying demon lotus flame by obtaining it. If they could obtain it, the benefits could be described as endless. Haha. The owner of this map fragment wishes to exchange it for some medicinal pills. Of course, the quality of the medicinal pills must be at least a 6-colored pill lightning. As for the quantity, that will depend on everyone. Old man Bao Shan smiled. His eyes swept over the hall before he said, "The bidding will begin now. Everyone, please offer your bids." There were many people in the large hall who were interested in this map fragment. Immediately, a hoarse, elderly voice said, 3 6-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pills. 4 6-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pills. 5. Many bids were suddenly issued from the large hall within less than 2 short minutes. The hall's atmosphere abruptly became fiery hot. The bidding price swiftly rose in front of old man Bao Shan's smiling eyes. Everyone clearly understood that the map fragment was worth far more than these offers. However, if one could rely on this map fragment to find the purifying lotus demon flame, this loss would not be worth mentioning. What should we do now? Xiao Yin frowned and softly asked after learning that so many people were interested. Don't be anxious, let's wait. Yao Lao shook his head as he replied. Xiao Yin could only nod his head when he heard Yao Lao's response. He forcefully calmed his heart. The frown on his brows deepened when he heard the continuously rising price. He had indeed underestimated the allure of the purifying demon lotus flame. Even though it was only a map fragment, it caused all these people to act crazy. The bid continued to rapidly rise amid numerous cries that refused to give in to each other. Within less than 10 minutes, the price had already risen to 9 6-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pills. This bid caused even Xiao Yan's expression to become a little ugly. A bid that involved so many 6-colored pill lightning medicinal pills had exceeded his expectations. Fortunately, the current price had exceeded the point most people could accept. Hence, the number of people bidding also decreased, but everyone knew that these remaining people were truly wealthy individuals. 5 7-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pills. A cold cry that contained some anger suddenly echoed after the previous bid. This price was undoubtedly high, and the large hall quickly became quieter. Many eyes followed the origin of the sound that had been transmitted, but all they saw was a figure completely covered by a black robe. 8 pills. An elderly voice suddenly sounded in a simple manner. Xiao Yan quietly sighed in his heart when he heard this voice. Yao Lao had finally begun to bid. However, Xiao Yan didn't know if Yao Lao would truly be able to obtain the map fragment. After all, the people here were not ordinary individuals. Humph! The person who had cried out the price earlier snorted when he heard Yao Lao open his mouth to make a bid. The man hesitated for a moment before he clenched his teeth and said, 1 8-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pill. A low uproar appeared within the large hall after his words sounded. Many people had not expected this fellow to take out an 8-colored pill lightning medicinal pill. 3 pills? This voice was still faint, but it suppressed all the voice in the hall. Yao Lao caused that person to give up with a great unwillingness. Xiao Yan sighed in relief when that person ceased speaking. He was just about to speak when Yao Lao's voice appeared beside him. Don't be happy too soon. 5 pills. Xiao Yan's face twitched when he heard a voice filled with a cold sternness. His eyes searched for the origin of the voice that was being transmitted. He found a somewhat skinny figure seated on a stone chair. The skinny figure seemed to have sensed Xiao Yan's eyes since he suddenly turned his head. A pair of dark and stern eyes shot over like sharp arrows from under the dopung, causing space itself to fluctuate. At the same time, an unusual pressure surfaced on Xiao Yan's body. Humph! Yao Lao let out a cold snort when the pressure formed around them. He randomly waved his sleeve, and the invisible pressure was destroyed in an instant. What a frightening strength this person has. Xiao Yan finally recovered and was quietly stunned in his heart while Yao Lao exchanged blows with this mysterious person. Be careful. This person is an expert with half a foot in the Bansheng class, Yao Lao softly mentioned. His voice gained a solemnness for the first time. Xiao Yan's expression changed upon hearing this. This spatial trade fair was indeed a place with many hidden experts. 8 pills. Yao Lao coldly cried out after speaking to Xiao Yan. At this moment, his expression had gained a tight frown. Such a price had exceeded his estimate. Haha, this friend has bid the price of 8 8-colored pill lightning medicinal pill. Is there anyone who is still going to bid? Old Man Baoshan smiled as he asked a question. Old Man Baoshan's words caused the large hall to become silent for a moment. Many pairs of eyes were thrown toward the skinny man who had counterbid Yao Lao earlier. That skinny black-robed man smiled in a dark and cold manner when all these gazes swung over. He immediately opened his mouth and said, 1 9-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pill. If you are able to offer a higher price, this map fragment will belong to you. This fellow is really crazy. Everyone present inhaled a gentle breath of cool air when they heard that the black-robed person was willing to take out a 9-colored pill lightning medicinal pill. They shook their heads and quietly made comments in their hearts. Xiao Yan's expression had also turned gloomy at this moment. He also possessed a 9-colored pill lightning medicinal pill in his hand. It was the pill beast that he had obtained from the Do Sheng remains last time. However, his losses would be too frightening if he bid the pill beast. After all, if this pill beast was reared properly, it might even be able to advance to a Tier 9 medicinal pill in the future. At that time, its value would soar by hundreds of times. Even a Do Sheng class expert would be attracted by it. He would not take out a medicinal pill with such a potential no matter what. Yao Lao's finger gently pounded against the armrest. Although there was a doping covering him, Xiao Yin was aware that his face consisted of a frown at this moment. He pulled his sleeves and slowly shook his head. This was not the moment to be impulsive. Even though they were unable to use proper means to obtain this map fragment, they would still be able to use other means to do so. Yao Lao slowly spread his hand when he saw Xiao Yin. He nodded and a low voice was transmitted into Xiao Yan's ear. The price is too great, but I am already aware of that person's identity. He is an old opponent. This time around, I will coincidentally be able to resolve the conflict from back then. Given Yao Lao's character, he would not simply watch this final map fragment leave. It was just as Xiao Yin had thought. Since they were unable to obtain it through proper means, they could only use some other means. Moreover, it was not the first time that he and Xiao Yin had done this. They also had to use other means in the Black Corner region in order to obtain another map fragment. It seemed that an old show was about to repeat itself. Hee hee. That skinny black-robed person laughed in a low voice. After which, his eyes returned to Old Man Bao Shan at the middle of the hall. He waved his hand, and a small snow-white rabbit appeared in it. An extremely dense pill fragrance filled the room the moment it appeared, causing the eyes of many to turn a little red. A 9-colored pill lightning medicinal pill was something that even a Ban Shang class expert desired. Even less needed to be said about the elite Do Zuns. The skinny black-robed man rubbed this little rabbit with his hand. He also felt some pain, but he clenched his teeth the moment he thought of the purifying demon lotus flame. A glow rose from his hand that wrapped around the rabbit, after which it was shot toward Old Man Bao Shan with lightning-like speed. While this 9-colored medicinal pill rushed across the large hall, many people felt an impulse to snatch it. However, it was fortunate that these people did not lose their reasoning. They did not do anything after struggling with the impulse in their hearts. Old Man Bao Shan beckoned with his hand and received the cluster of light, after which he carefully examined the snow-white rabbit. He sensed the unbelievably pure energy within its body. Only then did he nod his head. His eyes contained a marvel. Clearly, he had not expected someone to take out such a medicinal pill as a bid. This friend, the transaction is complete. This map belongs to you. Old Man Bao Shan carefully stored the rabbit. His finger flicked over the ancient map fragment. The map fragment turned into a ray of light that rushed toward the skinny black-robed old man. Finally, the man grabbed it with a pleased smile on his face. Xiao Yin slowly clenched his hand when the ancient map landed in the hands of that black-robed old man. A chill flashed within his dark black eyes. He needed to obtain this purifying demon lotus flame at any cost. Hence, he had to obtain this map fragment even if this old fellow was someone who had half a foot in the Bansheng class. Haha, the last item of our spatial trade fair is not an object but some information. Although this information will spread through the Central Plains soon, the information we have here should be first-hand. Old Man Bao Shan smiled after completing the ancient map transaction. His eyes scanned the hall as he said, "Relax, we will not ask for a reward for this information. However, due to it being a little shocking, we have placed it last." Everyone frowned when they heard Old Man Bao Shan's words. Everyone in the room stared at him with some doubt. Just what kind of information could Old Man Bao Shan hold with such regard? Old Man Bao Shan smiled as he sensed the many uncertain eyes. His soft voice slowly echoed through the large hall. The legendary Bodhisattva ancient tree. rumored to be able to allow one to break through the ordinary and become a Shang saint, has once again appeared after 10,000 years. Bodhisattva ancient tree? Old man Baoshan's words were like a bomb that caused the entire hall to abruptly turn into an uproar. Some experts were unable to control the shock in their hearts as they suddenly stood up. The Bodhisattva ancient tree would enter the top 3 if every natural treasure across the entire Do-Chi continent were to be ranked. The Bodhisattva ancient tree was also known as the knowledge reincarnation tree. This tree would grow one cycle every 1,000 years. It would only mature after 100 cycles. Most things would be eroded after such a long period of time. However, the Bodhisattva ancient tree existed outside of time. It could be considered one of the extremely ancient species of the continent. It was rumored that the Bodhisattva ancient tree appeared once every 1,000 years and would cause a huge commotion across the continent each time it appeared. Looking back at the long history of the continent, even elite Doshangs had died while fighting over the Bodhisattva ancient tree. According to the records of some ancient books, only one Bodhisattva ancient tree grew in this world. It possessed its own intelligence and would hide deep underground after it appeared. No one would be able to find it, and it would only appear in the world when it was ready. Bodhisattva ancient tree, becoming a Shang saint, immediately. These were not empty words. The interior of the Bodhisattva ancient tree was the Bodhisattva heart. Those who obtained it would have their heart transformed into a Bodhisattva heart, and becoming a saint would be a simple task. This was not mere rumor because an old expert had possessed such good luck. After swallowing the Bodhisattva heart, this untalented 2-star Do-Zun broke through all the obstacles in his advancement in a simple fashion, and within a short 5 years, he reached the Do-Shang class, shaking the entire continent in the process. This kind of divine effect caused everyone to go crazy. Whoever managed to obtain the Bodhisattva heart meant that they possessed a direct passage to advance to the Do-Shang class, the current peak level of this world. Moreover, even if the Bodhisattva heart was eliminated from the picture, the slightly inferior Bodhisattva seed would also increase the chances of successfully advancing to the Do-Shang class. Although it was not as terrifying as the Bodhisattva heart, it still possessed an irresistible allure to those at the peak of the Do-Zun class since the breakthrough to the Ban-Shang class was too difficult and dangerous. Some of the experts at the peak of the Do-Zun class might not be able to reach that level even after a lifetime. At this moment, a Bodhisattva seed would make them go insane. In summary, the temptation of the Bodhisattva ancient tree to peak experts had reached a crazy stage. One could imagine just what kind of a great uproar this news would stir in the Central Plains. Yao Lao by the side let out a long sigh, while Xiao Yan's eyes revealed a stunned expression. One could sense the slight disbelief in his voice. This so-called information caused even someone with his mental fortitude to not remain completely calm. It is actually the Bodhisattva ancient tree? Yao Lao muttered after letting out a heavy sigh. Xiao Yan slightly nodded. His finger rubbed his storage ring. There was a Bodhisattva seed inside it. It was rumored that the Bodhisattva seed was able to sense the Bodhisattva ancient tree. However, why had he not discovered anything? Could it be he was too far away? Standing at the middle of the large hall, old man Baoshan smiled as he heard everyone inhale a breath of cold air after being shaken by this news. Even he greatly coveted the Bodhisattva ancient tree. If the place it had appeared wasn't too dangerous, he would not have been able to restrain himself from leading his people over to search for the treasure. Old man Baoshan, may I know where the Bodhisattva ancient tree has appeared? The shock in the hall continued for a moment before someone took the lead to ask. All the excited eyes present once again gathered on old man Baoshan after this person asked a question. From the looks of it, they would not be able to control themselves and would attack old man Baoshan if he refused to reply. Their reasoning was quite fragile because of the allure of the Bodhisattva ancient tree. Ha ha, Everyone can rest assured that this elderly self will not hide anything now that I have spoken. Old man Bao Shan understood the thoughts in these people's hearts. He would naturally not use this matter as a joke. He laughed. The location where the Bodhisattva ancient tree has appeared is likely not a foreign one. It is the ancient Wasteland region located on the northeastern border of the Central Plains. Ancient Wasteland region? Many exclamations reverberated around the large hall after these words were said. Those experts who had suddenly sat straight up earlier deflated with an anxious expression in their eyes. It is actually located in such a dangerous area? Xiaoyan slightly knit his brows. He had naturally heard about the ancient Wasteland region. That area was probably the oldest place in the current Doqi continent. It was also the forbidden ground of all humans. The weather inside was terrible, and poison permeated the air as fierce beasts roamed. These fierce beasts were descendants from ancient times. Some of them were not inferior to any tribe in the current magical beast world with the exception of the ancient void dragon. In other words, even the heaven demon phoenix tribe would perish if they entered. These beasts were bloodthirsty and violent. Although they were not intelligent, their strengths were extremely frightening. Even experts at the peak of the Dozun class would not dare to say that they would be able to successfully leave the place alive. This was a truth provided by a countless number of years of blood lessons, because many experts had entered the wasteland in search of treasures. However, contact with them was eventually lost. Some renowned experts within the Central Plains were among those who had entered. As an increasing number of experts disappeared in the ancient wasteland region, its dangerous reputation spread further. Eventually, no one dared to step into it. Another factor was that this wasteland was a little far away, so this once dangerous land gradually faded from memory. However, no one had expected the Bodhisattva ancient tree to appear within the ancient wasteland region this time around. No wonder this old fellow would release this kind of information. With the strength of the Reflecting Treasure sect and the other two factions, they would be committing suicide if they entered the ancient wasteland region. They wished to attract more people to enter in order to gain some benefits from the chaos. Yao Lao slowly unraveled his thoughts. He was also deeply aware of the danger of the ancient wasteland region. He also understood why old man Bao Shan was so open-minded about sharing such news. Ha ha! Every appearance of the Bodhisattva ancient tree results in an unnatural phenomenon. Everyone should gradually be able to sense it within a month. At that time, you will know that I am stating the truth. Old man Bao Shan smiled as he stated, I have already provided the information to everyone. This spatial trade fair has successfully been completed. Thank you all for participating. The atmosphere in the large hall was quiet for a moment before some people began to stand up before they walked out of the hall. We should also leave. The Bodhisattva ancient tree is indeed a mysterious thing. We should head over to take a look if we find the chance. Yao Lao softly commented when he saw that the trade fair had been concluded. This was a very good opportunity. If they could obtain the Bodhisattva heart, the route to advance to the Doshang class would be incomparably smooth. In other words, a Doshang would appear in the Falling Star Pavilion. They would then feel more confident if they were to fight the Hall of Souls. However, we must first obtain the ancient map. Yao Lao faintly laughed. He slightly turned his head. That skinny black-robed man, who had successfully bought the ancient map, had turned around and left. A cold smile slid across Yao Lao's face as he glanced at his back. Let's go. Yao Lao got up, after which he walked out of the large hall without turning his head. Xiaoyan and Tu swiftly followed. They were aware that an intense battle was inevitable. Yao Lao disappeared for a moment after the trade fair was concluded, after which he returned swiftly before leading Xiaoyan's group out of this realm. He flew to the northwest. Finally, they glided through the desert and stopped on a steep mountain. This is a spot where they must pass. Given those three old demons' characters, They will definitely not take a detour even if they possess a great treasure. Yao Lao looked into the distance and spoke in a faint voice. Teacher, what is the background of those people? Xiaoyan nodded and inquired. An evil and strange sect called the Cloud Rain sect. This sect rears meat cauldrons to raise one's strength. These so-called meat cauldrons are talented girls who are given a qi method to train. They will bitterly train for over a decade before the do qi within their bodies is absorbed through the Cloud Rain sect's unique intercouse method. Of course, this kind of qi method is too overbearing. The ladies whose do qi has been absorbed usually die from old age within 10 days. The Cloud Rain sect has over 1,000 disciples. Moreover, all of them are females, but they are all meat cauldrons for those 3 old demons to absorb. It is really a shameless sect. Kai Lin's and the little fairy doctor's faces turned a little cold after they heard Yao Lao's explanation. They are indeed shameless and were chased away from the Central Plains back then, but it is unexpected that they have returned. Yao Lao nodded and said, Back then, I had exchanged blows with one of those 3 and seriously injured him, but I was injured by the other 2. Therefore, I did not take that person's life. It is surprising that I would come across them after so many years. These 3 old demons' evil reputations in the Central Plains were gained much earlier than the Shui He Tianzuan you met. The eldest, Tian Hezi, has already reached a 9-change peak Do Zun. The second brother, Djez, has reached the 8th change, while the third, Ren Hezi, is at the 6th change. Their combined strength is likely able to contend against an elite Bansheng. Surprise flashed across Xiao Yan's eyes when he heard this information. These 3 old demons were indeed extraordinary. With this kind of strength, one would be considered top-notch even within the Central Plains. No wonder they could take out a 9-colored pill lightning tier 8 medicinal pill. Yao Lao suddenly lifted his head while Xiao Yan was continuing to make inquiries. He looked to the distant horizon and faintly said, They are here.